Spreading over 1,000 square miles in central California, Yosemite National Park is most known for its endless ridgelines and towering faces that look over the people brave enough to climb them. John Muir, the man who created Yosemite National Park in 1890, helped begin the conservationist and national park movements in the United States. He wished for humans to experience and keep safe the hidden treasures their land had to offer. Through his great accomplishments as a naturalist, activist, and inventor, John received titles like Father of the National Parks and John of the Mountains. As a man dedicated to his long explorations and sharing nature's true beauty to the world, John Muir should be inducted into the United States Historical Hall of Fame. John Muir, a man of simple beginnings and a simple name, was born on April 21st in 1838 in Dunbar, East Lothian, Scotland, to Daniel Muir and Anne Gilry Muir. John grew up with 8 siblings in a small house and enjoyed his early childhood with plenty of brothers and sisters to play with. He entered primary school when he was 3 years old and learned to read at an early age. At age 7, he began to learn about the United States history and landscape through a journal by John Audubon and Alexander Wilson that had descriptions and catalogs of flowers and other plant life. He was thoughtful, as he later described himself, and wondered what the things he read about really looked like in America. At age 10, John and his family emigrated out of Scotland and settled on a small farm in Fountain Lake, Wisconsin in 1849. Now living in the United States, John eagerly wanted to experience and document nature like in the journal he had read years ago. John applied to the University of Wisconsin-Madison at age 22 and began studying geology and botany. While not graduating, John determined that he would live to follow natural sciences like botany, geology, and geography while traveling across the American landscape. After leaving the university in 1863, John Muir set off across the country to conduct research and live in nature's awesome presence. In 1867, he hiked 1,000 miles on foot from Kentucky to Florida, all while taking the wildest, leafiest, and least trodden way I could find. He traveled to Havana and studied seashells and flowers, then sailed back to the East Coast. And in 1868, he booked passage from New York City to California, where he would pursue a new goal of preserving the land he so deeply cared for and respected. Once arriving at Yosemite Valley in California, John wrote that he was overwhelmed by the landscape, scrambling down steep cliff faces to get a closer look at the waterfall, whooping and howling at the vistas, jumping tirelessly from flower to flower. John saw nature as his true home and held beliefs that reflected similarly to that of the Transcendentalists. Muir met with other men who shared the same delight towards nature that he did, like Carlton Watkins, a photographer who took magnificent shots while on trips with Muir. After 2 years of living in nature and separated from the world, Muir concluded that the greatest threat to all of America's pristine lands was the increase of human activity in those areas. He threw himself into the preservationist role. He proposed a bill to the U.S. Congress that would make Yosemite Area a national park. He began to expand his once personal voice towards the preservation of nature to a more public one that was shared by many. As John Muir's name was spreading across the country, many men contacted him to try and form a club for mountain lovers. Regular American men were motivated to support Muir's ideas, and Muir, as a man just doing the work he loved, enthusiastically agreed. In 1892, the Sierra Club was founded, with Muir as president and Warren Onley as vice president. The Sierra Club pushed forward in protection of Muir's bill proposal and led a successful campaign to put Yosemite National Park under federal regulation in 1906. As other national parks sprang up, Muir's persistent push for federal protection for Yosemite helped the other national parks follow suit and become protected under federal law. There are roughly 131,250 square miles of national park property covering the United States. And one man, through his passion for studying, living in, and loving nature, helped this number get to where it is now. But if John Muir hadn't traveled to America to kindle and fuel his burning passion to save nature. The bill for Yosemite National Park never would have been proposed. The push for federal regulation of the parks never would have started. And all we would have to look at are some oddly large tree stumps.